The quietest shift turned out to be the worst mistake. I was never paranoid about jobs, but this one felt off from the start. A friend messaged me saying they needed someone to cover night shifts at an office building. Nothing heavy. Just be there, keep an eye on things, and report anything unusual. The pay was really good for how little they asked, and no experience was required. Just responsibility. I didn't think twice about it because I needed the money and it sounded easy. Too easy. The building was in an area where absolutely nothing happened at night. On my first day, they handed me the keys, an old radio, and a short list of rules. Don't sleep, don't bring visitors, and don't enter certain offices on the top floor. They said it was because important documents were stored there. It sounded reasonable. The first night was boring. I walked around a bit, checked the cameras, and sat scrolling on my phone. Total silence. Calm. The second night is when things got weird. Around 2 in the morning, the radio turned on by itself. There was static, then a short breathing sound, like someone was too close to the microphone. I thought it was a malfunction and turned it off. A few minutes later, it turned on again. This time I clearly heard a low voice saying my name. I froze. Nobody else was supposed to be there. I reported it and they told me it was probably crossed frequencies and not to worry. The following nights it kept happening. Footsteps in empty hallways, doors making noise like someone was gently pushing them, the elevator going up on its own to the top floor, the one I wasn't supposed to use. The cameras showed nothing, but the sounds were there. I started feeling like I wasn't alone even though I knew there was no one else. One early morning while doing a round, I saw a light on inside one of the forbidden offices. I walked over thinking someone had broken in. When I put my hand on the doorknob, I felt this strange pressure in my chest, like something telling me not to go in. I opened the door anyway. The room was empty, but there was a chair in the middle and an old recorder on the desk. It was on, playing audio. They were recordings of people talking, laughing, complaining about being tired. Different voices, some of them saying things like, "The shift is almost over," or "Just hold on a little longer." Then I realized something that made my stomach drop. One of the recordings repeated a sentence I had said over the radio the night before, word for word. I turned the recorder off, shaking, and walked out without closing the door. The next day I confronted the supervisor. He looked serious and told me I wasn't supposed to go in there. He said those recordings were from former night guards and that they used them to evaluate the nighttime environment. I asked why my voice was on them. He didn't answer. He just told me that if I wanted to keep the job, I should forget what I saw. I didn't go back. I left the uniform, the keys, and the radio on the table and walked out. Weeks later, I found out the building had been rotating night staff for years because nobody lasted more than a few months. There were always sudden resignations, always blamed on stress. Since then, I've learned that some places aren't empty, even when they look like it. And sometimes the pay is high, not for what you have to do, but for what you're expected to endure.